Hello, everybody, and welcome to our live weekly energy forecast. So in these videos, we will take a look at the astrological energy of the week and also the archetypal energy and cyclical energy that we have influencing us. So the cycles of the moon, the cycle of the season, and lots of different things, and how they all layer on top of each other to create the experience of the week that we're moving into. So my name's Hannah. I am an astrologer, a human design reader, and also a coach. And for those of you who haven't joined me in these videos before, this is content that we put out onto our membership platform with lots of different resources like journal prompts, different session practices. If you're joining me on Instagram or YouTube, then hello and welcome. And these you'll be able to access the forecast, and then if you want to go any deeper, then you have the opportunity to join our membership and you can check out all of the resources that I will speak about as we move through the video. So this week is dynamic. So we have a lot happening. There is some tension. There's a new moon, which signifies a new beginning. And we do also have some really nice supportive aspects this week as well. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. We're heading to a new moon in Scorpio on Friday, the 1st of November. So I'll break that down a little bit more in a moment. But that again it's a new beginning. It's the seeding point. It's stepping into a new cycle. We also have Samhain, which is the Celtic pagan holiday of that was replaced with Halloween. So that's a lot about it's where the veil is at its thinnest. So there is opportunity to kind of connect with ancestors. That's why ceremony festivals like Day of the Dead is also prevalent at this time. That this autumn season is a lot about connection and transition and death, and how that then leads to rebirth. So there's some interesting energy happening on Samhain this year, which I really want to dig into because it's a nice opportunity to kind of really tap into your intuition and also your inner guidance as well. It is the autumn. Autumn is in full swing, the season of letting go, decomposition, shedding, transformation. We're fully into Scorpio season now. Scorpio season is quite dark. It's about introspection, death, and it's very emotional. It can be very intense. It likes to dig and get to the bottom of things, so we can really uncover what is in the depths of ourselves within the Scorpio season. And it's also incredibly transformative as well. So again, we've still got all of that energy of transformation and potential for transformation with us this week. Mars and Pluto, the rulers of Scorpio and the rulers of this new moon we have coming up on Friday, are in a bit of a tense opposition to each other, which again I'll break down a little bit more as we move through the video. So there is some tension this week from two pretty loud planets. But then there is also some really supportive aspects happening underneath, which are almost cradling this and actually making that even though there is tension, there's a lot of opportunity for growth and new beginnings within that as well. So let's get into it. So starting with today, Monday, the 28th of October, so we have Mars in Cancer trining Neptune in Pisces. Now this is a beautiful water trine configuration, which is all about Mars is action. Neptune in Pisces is about creativity. It's limitless dreaming. There's no bounds to what Pisces can dream. That's why it's associated with things like Disney, because it's limitless and it has access to, it's almost like connection to the beyond. So there's no limits to the things that Pisces can kind of dream up and connect with. And Neptune is all about dreaminess. It's about creativity. It's about vision. So this is really a time where we could take creative action, getting dreams into action. Mars will help us to act and actually have follow through on those creative pursuits, things that you're dreaming of, and getting kind of almost bringing creativity to goal setting as well. Like Mars wants to get out there and just do it, and Neptune has the potential to kind of dream of anything when it's in Pisces. On the same day, we also have Venus in Sagittarius squaring Saturn in Pisces. So even though we've got all this potential for like limitless dreaming and taking action, and this is a time to move things forward, there is like a little bit of a reality check here with Venus and Venus and Sag squaring Saturn in Pisces. So Venus is in Sagittarius is expansive and adventurous, and it wants to like travel to the edges of the universe. And sometimes I think free-spirited Venus in Sagittarius could feel limited by Saturn's boundaries on its dreams, if that makes sense. So there might, even though there is potential for dreaming, Saturn comes in and he's like, right, okay, what is the structure? What are the steps we need to take to actually make this dream a reality? So squares can feel limiting and frustrating. That's why they create tension. However, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because that Neptune in Pisces might lack limits and boundaries. So sometimes we can flip over into like a lack of realism, right? Whereas Saturn's going to make us hone it down and get really real. This could also show up a little bit in tension in relationships, maybe like a little bit of a push-pull between wanting to be free-spirited, and then also like maybe emotional boundaries needing to be set as well, because Saturn is in Pisces, which is emotions, and it's very emotional sign. And then Venus in Sagittarius just wants to have a great time. So, but Venus is also the planet of relationships as well. So there could be some tension around relationships, emotional boundaries. This could also show up as well in finances or personal values as well. So Venus is also what we value and how we relate to things as well as people. So yeah, a bit of a potential, I guess, for some dreaming on Monday, some dreaming, some creative action in a way that's realistic, basically. So actually making some plans now is a really, really great day for it. And again, we have a few days either side. Like astrology is flux, the peak of it is today, but obviously we have energy building and then we have energy waning based on those kind of peak points of a transit. So there is opportunity a few days before and a few days after with most of these. So next, let's move on. So Wednesday, the 30th of October, we have Mercury and Scorpio opposing Uranus and Taurus. Oppositions in astrology are polarizing. It's when two energies that are kind of two sides of the same coin are pulling in opposite directions, right? So Mercury is the planet of the mind and communication. Uranus is the planet of like revolution. It can bring sudden, unexpected change. So again, we kind of have potential here for like sudden insights. Mercury and Scorpio, like Scorpio likes to dig and get to the bottom of things. So there can be potential here to kind of maybe like if Uranus is going to bring revelations and Mercury, the mind, wants to dig, there could be some like big revelations in terms of maybe like emotional, in your emotional landscape. It could be uncovering hidden truths within your life, within your person, like your own personal life, within yourself, or within the people around you as well. So there's a little bit of tension here. Like Uranus wants to revolutionize and create change, whereas Uranus in the sign of Taurus likes consistency. Taurus likes things to stay the same. So there is a little bit of polarization happening because they're pulling away from each other. This could be a little bit tense and uncomfortable. So there may be sudden revelations. However, again, whenever there's friction, there's potential for growth. This is never bad. However, this might bring something to the surface. So in the recommended practices that I've gathered for you guys this week, for those of you who are in the membership, I have put a couple of practices in there on grounding and also just staying very, very like present, and in order to ride out like certain transitions. So if things are feeling a little bit up in the air, a little bit uncertain, maybe there's some anxiety coming up, anything like that, there's some really beautiful sessions, a longer one and a short one, about transitioning through periods of change or big energy. So they could be really, really helpful, especially if you're really feeling that. I did also put one in there to help with, it was a really short, I think 15 to 20 minute practice on staying grounded and clear-headed when dealing with conflict. It can be a really, really lovely practice just to stay, so your stress response is soothed, so you can respond rather than be reactive and be pushing up against each other. So if you are noticing that relationship tension with that Venus transit on Monday, that can be a great practice to use. Give yourself a little bit of space. If there is confrontation or conflict coming up, and then go use that practice, or both of you use that practice and then try to come back together and have a conversation feeling much more soothed nervous systems, and it'll just be something that can be very, very supportive. So Next, we have on Samhain, so Thursday, the 31st of October, we have a lovely trine between Mercury and Neptune. So this is intuition, Mercury, the mind, how we communicate, Neptune, the planet of creativity, of dreaming, of limitless thinking, in Pisces, right? So, and then also in that trine with Mercury, it's the opportunity to really tap into your intuition and to really get connected with your inner guidance. Also, because this is happening on Samhain as well, like when the veil, like the thinning of the veil, like where the veil between the two worlds of living and dead is supposed to be the thinnest. This is really an opportunity to connect with your inner guidance and the guidance of ancestors, of guides, of whatever you feel connected with. So we can have these trines really like roughly at many times a year. So the fact this is happening on Samhain is very, very special. And for those of you who don't know, we're actually hosting a 21-day program inside our membership, which is all about connecting with your inner guidance and then also identifying like limiting narratives that you have within yourself, and then understanding how to move through those old stories and narratives for a fresh start. So stepping out of like, it's kind of like a journey of transformation, and really an opportunity to not just consciously understand what's happening, but also physically through somatic practices to shift stuff through and let go and transform. So if anybody wants to join us, we are doing a coaching call this evening. However, that'll be available on Catch Up, and the program officially starts on Samhain on the 31st of October. So that's a really nice opportunity to make the most of this energy and also really connect with your intuition as well, which is what the first 5 to 7 days of the experiment is all about. And then Friday, the 1st of November, we have a new moon in Scorpio, and this has the potential to be deeply transformative. This is a new beginning. New moons are seeding points. It's a great time to set intentions. I really, really encourage you to make the most of this one. This is new moons in Scorpio are powerful. They're deep. They are emotional. They are intuitive. This Scorpio is all about digging deep. It's about self-reflection. It's about letting go, and it's about transformation. So setting intentions around those themes can be really beneficial at this time. Again, the program is also there to support you. We've got lots of journal prompts for you to kind of get clear on what it is you'd like to let go of and step over the threshold to leave behind. So if you do want extra support with that, then please, you can join our membership. I'll leave the link below. But there might be a little bit of added intensity with this one. And again, this is not bad. This is helpful because there's going to be a real push to grow and transform at this new moon. So as I mentioned before, we have that Mars-Pluto opposition. Mars is the planet of action. It's fire. It's assertiveness. It can be sharp. It can be a little bit aggressive when it's out of balance. And Mars in Cancer though, and then opposed by Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation, of death, of rebirth, of new beginnings. It kind of likes to burn things down in order for the new to be born from the fertile ashes, right? So they are in opposition to one another. Mars is like, Pluto is almost as well in astrology, like the higher octave of Mars. Mars is a personal planet and Pluto is a generational planet. So this transit may not actually influence you too personally. It could, especially if you have Mars as your chart ruler, or if this configuration is activating your personal natal chart in a specific way. And the reason why Mars and Pluto are prominent is because they are both the rulers of Scorpio. So Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, and Pluto was only discovered when that was the ruler of Pluto. Mars was the ruler of Scorpio for thousands of years. When we discovered Pluto, we're thinking, God, I don't know. I was going to say 1781, but actually, I think that might have been Uranus. Doesn't matter. Not that long ago anyway. That is also, so that then became the modern ruler of Scorpio. So they are both very heavily connected to Scorpio energy, and they are in an opposition. They're in a tense aspect where they're pulling away from each other. So there may be tension, there may be friction at this time. If it's not happening in your personal life, you may see it on the world stage. And to be honest, a lot of readings I have done for people recently, and for a lot of conversations I've had with different clients, people are experiencing a lot of this big energy now. This opposition has been building for a while. This is happening at 29 degrees of Cancer. Mars is at 29 degrees of Cancer, and Pluto is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So this is an ending of something. This is a significant ending. Mars and Pluto are going to have 5 oppositions over the next year, but they're not going to be happening in Cancer and Capricorn. They're going to move to the next signs along. So even though this is kind of the beginning of a conversation between Mars and Pluto, it is also an ending of something. So even though we've got this new moon energy that's all about setting intentions, stepping into a new version of yourself, having like kind of stepping over into a threshold moment, there is also a lot of opportunity. There may be some tension, but that tension is for you to leave behind. It's now time to shed, to let go of it and step over that threshold into a new phase of life. So again, there's loads of resources on the membership. I've left in the recommended classes for this week a really lovely energy medicine session, which is all working with the lung and the large intestine meridians in the body. They are the organs that are associated with transformation. Lungs taking in oxygen, expelling carbon dioxide, large intestine taking in food, transforming it into nutrients and getting rid of the rest, right? The same with the lungs. That's why the energy of those organs is associated with letting go, with shedding, with transforming. So working with those energy meridians in a physiological way can help you physically shift something through, as well as EFT sessions if there's something specific you want to work on. And there's lots of support in the membership, and not just those recommended practices, and also this 21-day experiment they're going to be starting on the 31st was going to be incredibly beneficial for making the most of this energy. So I really recommend you dive into that. But this is just, it's a point where we can leave something behind. What is interesting is, even though this is a tense and dynamic and fiery new moon, there is some support. We have Pluto sextiling Neptune, we have Neptune sextiling Uranus, we have Uranus sextiling Mars, we have Pluto trine Uranus, and we have Mars trine Neptune. I am not going to dig into what all of those mean because that is a lot. However, there's a lot happening that's kind of holding this new moon. There's support here. There is some really, really beneficial transits that are all talking to each other, which says to me that all of this tension is happening for our highest good. I genuinely believe that anyway, but when we see this much harmony underneath a very loud and very dominating and very tense aspect, then we know there really is, we're very well set up to move through something. There is so much potential here. So this is why I'm trying to kind of like emphasizing this. And then I guess just 2 final things to touch on. So Saturday, the 2nd of November, Mercury moves from Scorpio, the planet of the mind and communication, moves from Scorpio, which is dark and deep and wants to dig, into Sagittarius, which is expansive and adventurous. We also have Venus there, so we're kind of getting a double up of that Sagittarius energy. And then also Mars on the Sunday, the 3rd of November, moves into Leo. So we have a bit of a shift in tone. We've had a lot of water, like a lot, and now we're going to shift in. We're getting a little bit of a shift in tone into some fire energy. Fire energy is dynamic, it's fun, it's vibrant, so it will lift things a little bit. It can also add heat, however. So if you are feeling the heat, definitely using some water practices to calm and soothe. Make sure you're soothing your nervous system. There is potential for the heat to kind of build up towards the end of the week. However, again, it's also bringing some dynamic, fiery, vibrant energy. And if we can stay grounded, then we can really make the most of that shift. And it might also lift some of the heaviness and tiredness that I've been hearing a little bit from clients. There is big energy at the moment. So if you are feeling it a lot, again, there's lots you can do just to kind of get your energy aligned so you can ride out these periods of time of big energy. And this is really what we do on a Handpicked Life, is it's all about energy and body literacy, paying attention to things. How do you receive energy? How do you feel when certain things are happening? And what do you need in order to take care of yourself, to make sure that you have the strongest possible foundation so you can respond to whatever's happening. So that could be, for example, for me personally, I have a lot of fire in my chart. So when there's extra fire happening, when there's a lot of fire element stuff happening, I know I really need to drop in and like cool and soothe. So working with water element practices, working with the kidney and bladder meridians is incredibly helpful for me personally, but everybody receives energy in different ways. So these are generalizations, but actually what is most important is for you to drop in, pay attention, what is happening for you and what is it you need. So if you want support and guidance on that, again, I've mentioned it about 6,000 times now, but there's loads of support on our membership. We've got some live coaching calls coming up so you can have personalized guidance from us. Have a great week. Keep me updated. I'd love to hear how people receive and experience this energy this week, particularly the new moon. If you've got some new intentions, new things you want to work with, please reach out, let me know. I'd love to hear. And I will see you all next week for another forecast. Lots of love. Mwah. Happy new moon.